Well, as I said at the top, Ronald Reagan used to always say, good economics leads to good politics. So let's talk. Bring in Florida Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna. Anna, thank you for coming on. You know, that was a Reagan staple a long time ago when I first worked for him and I was a child, 17 years old. But really, what you all got done last night, I regard fundamentally as good economics, pro-growth economics, especially with the tax cuts included in the overall package. And I got to believe that's going to pay political dividends. You know, rest of this year into the midterms, you could do things that haven't been done in a long time, maybe even expand your majority in an off year. What do you think?
That would be very nice. As you know, that was definitely some Trump finessing. I will say Speaker Johnson did amazing with the reconciliation, but also President Trump was very involved behind the scenes in that one big, beautiful bill. It passed out of here. I have faith that it'll pass through. I'm very cautiously optimistic in the Senate, but I think we're going to get it done. And so, yes, you are right. I can tell you that the Pinellas County residents that found out what we passed last night were very happy about it, ending taxes on tips, Social Security benefits, tax benefits for seniors, and then also to, you know, the America First made products really being tax-free now. This is all things that President Trump campaigned on.
Can we get all that in? That's so important. Everything you just said is like really important. It's not only the tax cuts 1.0, it's the tax cuts 2.0. The 15% on, you know, made in America, you're absolutely right. The tips, the overtime, helping seniors. And that stuff is dynamite, Anna. You know, powerful political stuff as well as good economic growth stuff.
Yeah, the numbers check out. I talked to both Jody Arrington, as you know, the chairman of the Budget Committee, who's very passionate and rightfully so about this. I've even heard from my more conservative friendlies in the House Freedom Caucus how supportive they are of that, Congressman Harris, and then also to Jason Smith. So all of these very brilliant minds are saying that the math checks. I think that the math checks, and so we're looking forward to, again, this passing, not just in the Senate, but also President Trump signing it to law. Now, to be clear about something, I think moving forward, obviously very tight majority, so it's important that we all continue to work together. But again, this will pay real dividends. I think that we're projected to win the midterms in the next couple of years.
You know, and look, how about this? A word of support for the Freedom Caucus. They're getting a bad name. They're good. They're smart. They're conservatives. They're for growth. They're for tax cuts. They're for limited government. Heck, I agree with that. You agree with that. I mean, somebody's got to stand up for those guys.
Well, you know, I will say this, too. You know, I think for the first time with the people that President Trump has appointed to these various agencies, President Trump's policy, also the people that are giving advice and counsel to the president, these are all like-minded individuals. So I think for the first time in history, we're going to see massive boom with the economy. Remember, we were handed pretty much a dumpster fire from the Biden administration. So we have a lot of work to do, but it's all good to see that people are moving forward and really delivering on President Trump's mandate from the American people. So I'm happy to be here and a part of that.
No, listen, I'll tell you what else, Ann. I think that the Doge effect is going to be, it's a big play, it's a very long playing record, and it's a good playing record. I was looking at a poll on one of the websites, something like 55–60% of the people would love to get a Doge dividend or have Doge savings pay down debt. You know, Elon Musk is a controversial guy. He's a rookie in politics, but he's got a big following. But most of all, right, he's getting done what we never seem to get done, which is a smaller government, a smaller workforce, and pay some dividends back to the taxpayers.
Well, it helps to have outsiders in Washington, and I will say that Elon, you know, he's been largely a target of left-wing media and smear campaigns, especially because he's come out not just a little bit in support of President Trump, but he helped get President Trump elected.
Yes.
And then you see these conveniently timed hit pieces, which are by no mistake. We've all been victim of those, especially in Washington, D.C. But what I would like to say is that the Doge effect is really doing what Congress failed to do, and that is, just spend less money and ensuring that the American people aren't having their tax dollars wasted. But I think it's rightfully so that the American people do deserve a refund. Look at the crazy stuff that the American government was spending money on, especially under this past administration. And so it's good to have a little bit of sunlight in the darkness. I think that that's the winning message. And I think that the American people, you know, entrust elected officials to do the right thing up here. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of people doing the wrong thing. And so it's helpful to have this administration putting top-down pressure and getting things done on behalf of the administration.
So, you know, I was amused. I mean, I thought it was pretty close. clever. So he says, I think he said it today at the cabinet. He said, you know, the memo I sent out, it wasn't a performance review. It was a pulse check. He wanted to see who out there had a pulse, who was still alive on the federal payroll and who wasn't. But you know what? We can laugh at that, but that's a serious issue. You need a pulse check for Social Security. You need a pulse check for Medicare. You need a pulse check for so many of these programs. And that's all he was doing.
Well, we thought that you needed a pulse check for Social Security, but Doge found out that there are people getting Social Security checks that were, 150 years old? I mean, it was absurd. Look, I think that Elon his heart is in the right place. Obviously, the secretaries ultimately have the say over those different agencies on whether or not they should respond. You saw that Tulsi came out and said, hey, don't respond for specific reasons, etc. But ultimately, we're same team, same fight here. And so I think that he has his heart in the right place. I think that he's literally finding massive amounts of fraud, waste, and abuse, which is what we need. And we're going to be able to successfully turn the ship around. If you see, just last night, this piece of legislation passed by one vote. And so that just goes to show how tight our majority is. But if we continue forward doing what we're doing, we will expand the majority in the midterms.
Well, I regard it as a landslide. So there, just you know, that's sometimes
I'm with you on that one.
You got to take it. It was a huge landslide. Last one, Anna. There's supposed to be a big federal RIF coming by the middle of March. President Trump talked about that today in cabinet. I think that also, you know, if it's done fairly with severance and so forth, as such has been the president's custom, I think this will be very popular. I think people outside Washington Beltway want to see downside. They don't want to see people hurt. All right, but 5-month severance package or whatever it may be doesn't mean people get hurt. And these are educated people in the main, highly educated people. They will get jobs and contribute to the private sector. But I think if there is a big rift coming, it will be very popular. What you think?
Well, look, from what I'm being told is that people in D.C. are actually taking this step. So they're not like being fired. They're actually willingly leaving.
Yeah.
And I actually heard this happen at the archives, that people are actually like wanting to leave. Look, being in Washington is not fun. People might think it's glamorous. It's really not. You deal with constant attacks. It's a grind up here. But I think that, you know, those people are given options. And then obviously, if someone feels that they're wrongfully terminated, they have every legal tool at their disposal. But I just don't see that being something that's going to be massive, especially if someone's leaving on their own accord.
Anna Paulina Luna, what's next for you? I got 30 seconds. Give me what's next for you.
Well, I have to go vote, but look, we're very happy to be delivering for the people in Pinellas County, and I'm just honored that they sent me here to Washington.
All right, well said. Thank you ever so much. Great pleasure to see you again. Take care.